guys, we're back for another video. This one today is going to be a dinner roll that we are making to go with another video that we're making. So I'm just going to show you how to make these. They're very simple. The only thing is I think it takes like 2.5 hours to make them, so you do want to plan to make sure that you do have some time. I'm going to go over the ingredients real quick. I left my milk in the microwave. I'm going to be right back. So the first step is 1 cup of warm milk, half a stick of melted butter, half a cup of warm water, 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm gonna mix that. Just because I want to dissolve the sugar in there and mix the butter and the water and the milk. And then I am using active dry yeast. There's 2 tablespoons in here. I mix that in there really good. And we're gonna set this aside, our mixture, because we want to get it to have a foamy top. So we're gonna set this aside for about 5 minutes. While your yeast is activating and becoming foamy, I've got 4 cups of all-purpose flour. That's the flour I'm using today. That's the flour. I like to use this flour when I'm making dinner rolls. Now, if I'm making bread or something else, you can use something. You can use bread flour. I have used whole wheat flour for these dinner rolls. It just makes them more dense. So I'm gonna put a pinch of salt in with the flour, and then we're just gonna wait for the yeast to come together and we'll mix them. So I'll be right back. All right guys, we're back. So our yeast has been activating for 5 minutes, and see how it has all that foam. Oh, it's all the good stuff. Okay, so we mixed up our salt and our flour, and we do that because we don't want a bite of pure salt. So we mix it together, and look at that color on that egg. That's 1 egg, and I just whisked it. I got these from Sprouts, and they are amazing. So I'm gonna put it in with my yeast. Just gonna give it a little whisk it up, and then I'm pouring into the flour, and we're gonna start to make our dough ball. Make sure your hands are clean at this point, because I don't have a mixer. I use my hand to knead and everything. If you have a KitchenAid or anything, you can use the KitchenAid, and just make sure you use the dough hook. But when you mix it by hand, there's no way you're gonna ever over knead it. Whereas with the KitchenAid, it's easier, but you can over knead it, and then it kind of just falls apart. Okay. So I'm going to put, my dough ball hasn't come together yet, but I'm going to dump it out on my countertop. So I'm gonna flip you guys over. Okay, so I just floured the surface of my countertop, and I'm going to whip this into a ball, and I'm gonna dump it out, and I'm going to knead it to 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna let it set for an hour. So let me get started on that and put you back on your stand. All right guys, so we've kneaded our dough ball for about 10 minutes. And I like to say it's like the consistency of Play-Doh is what I look at it. So we washed our bowl, and we put some, I put extra virgin olive oil in mine. You put your dough ball in, and you just kind of swish it around, cover it, because it's gonna double. It's gonna double in size. So we're gonna let this sit with the kitchen towel over it for about an hour. And then I'll show you what it looks like. All right guys, it's been about an hour, and look at, he is a big guy. So we're gonna punch this down, and then we're gonna cut it up, and we're gonna put it into our rolls. Let me grab a tray. Okay, so we punched it down. We're gonna take it out. Just give it a little knead in some very light flour. We're gonna get it back to its ball shape. Might need a little more flour. Back into a ball. And you could measure it out with a little scale and get equal sizes. I'm just gonna eyeball it with my pastry cutter. So I cut it in half. And then I'll cut these in half. Then I kind of shape these into a ball to get it somewhat. And then somewhat of a ball. Half, half. There we go. Half. Okay, now we're gonna get all of our pieces, a little more flour. You don't want too much flour. Right. And then we're gonna make all of these little guys into small balls. I like to pinch them. I made a video on how to make hamburger buns, and it's basically the same thing except for a little bit smaller. So I just pinch them at the bottom and then try to get them to stay closed, and then roll it out in your hand to make a little ball, a little dough. And then I'm using a cookie sheet that I just lined with parchment paper. And I'm just going to continue to, I'll show you a couple more and then I'll get to the end. I'm just cupping my hand and pinching with my thumb at the bottom, and then you just roll them, roll them, roll them. This is a little guy, so I'm gonna probably put him at the end. One more. So I'm just kind of basically shaping it, kind of getting it into a rough ball, and then pinching down here with my thumb to keep it like the bottom of it. And then cup your hand until you feel a nice ball. And then onto the cookie sheet. And you don't want them, you want them close but not touching, because they're gonna rise for another 30 minutes and they'll touch together when they do that. Okay, I'll be back when I got them all done. All right guys, so we got them all rolled up, and these are homemade, so if you don't have time to make them perfect, they don't have to be perfect. But I'm gonna put the dish towel back over them for another 30 minutes and then they'll go in the oven. All right guys, this is what they look like. Look at this guy. I guess I didn't form him into a ball well enough, but that's how they turned out. We'll just go ahead and look, you can pull them apart. Oh, they have that awesome seam. And when you, oh, it's so hot, so hot. I was gonna open it, but it's too hot, but they turned out really good. We'll see you guys next time.